In the quiet suburbs of North London, nestled among rows of modest houses, there lies an ordinary home that once became the epicenter of an extraordinary nightmare. It was 1977 when the Hodgson family first began experiencing the unexplainable, a series of events that would come to be known as one of the most infamous hauntings in British history. The Hodgsons were like any other family. Peggy, a single mother, worked tirelessly to care for her 4 children, Margaret, Janet, Johnny, and little Billy. They lived at 284 Green Street, a modest council house that they called home. But in late August of that year, their peaceful lives were shattered. 11-year-old Janet was the first to notice. She told her mother that she heard strange whispers in the dead of night, whispers coming from the corners of her room where no one stood. At first, Peggy dismissed it. It was the chatter of children's imaginations, she thought. But as days turned into weeks, strange occurrences began to escalate. Furniture moved on its own, heavy drawers slid across the room, and Janet's bed trembled as if gripped by unseen hands. The air in the house grew oppressive, filled with an unnatural energy that even visitors could sense. The family was terrified. One night, Peggy was stirred awake by loud, rhythmic thumping coming from Janet's room. She rushed in to find her daughters huddled in the corner, pointing in terror at a chest of drawers that had moved several feet across the floor. Peggy tried to push it back into place but couldn't. It was as if some invisible force was holding it there. That was the moment Peggy realized this was not her imagination. Something was in her house. In desperation, the Hodgsons turned to the police. Officers arrived and inspected the home. At first, they found nothing unusual, until one officer saw a chair slide across the floor entirely on its own. When she later signed her official report, she admitted that she had no explanation for what she witnessed. News of this bizarre activity spread quickly, drawing journalists, skeptics, and paranormal investigators to their front door. Among those intrigued by the case were Maurice Grosse and Guy-Léon Playfair, researchers from the Society for Psychical Research. Grosse in particular seemed convinced that what was happening at 284 Green Street wasn't a hoax, but evidence of something otherworldly. They set up recording equipment, cameras, and microphones, determined to document the phenomenon. And they did. The knocking sounds coming from the walls, the voices, the objects that flew across rooms with violent force, all of it was captured. But nothing was more unsettling than what happened next. Janet, the center of the disturbances, began speaking in a voice that was not hers. It was guttural, deep and rasping, a voice that sounded like an old man. She introduced herself, or rather the voice did, as Joe Wilkinson, claiming he had died in the house years earlier. Janet, only 11 years old, would sit silently as the eerie voice poured out of her, giving vivid details about events she couldn't possibly know. Researchers recorded hours of these voices, trying to determine whether it was a clever trick or truly a window into the unknown. Years passed, the investigation slowed, the phenomena gradually stopped. By 1979, the Hodgson family moved out of the house, hoping for a fresh start. Janet, now a grown woman, would later admit that parts of the haunting had been faked, but she insisted that much of it was real. The house on Green Street still stands, quiet and unassuming. New families have moved in reporting little to no activity, but the mystery of the Enfield Poltergeist endures. Was it all an elaborate hoax, or was the Hodgson family truly at the mercy of a malevolent force? We may never know, but one thing is certain: the fear, the voices, and the strange occurrences that unfolded within those walls continue to unsettle and captivate us to this day. So what do you think? Are ghosts real, or is the human mind capable of crafting horrors so vivid they leave us questioning reality itself? One thing's for sure: the Enfield Poltergeist will forever remain one of Britain's most chilling tales.